Hello friend, I want to tell you about the Mazda 3 car. Slightly less popular, but similarly controversial in style, the Japanese Mazda 3 BL is a strong competitor to the Honda Civic X. It is known for its reliability and maintains high prices on the market, but is it worth buying? Just a few years ago, Mazdas were highly praised for their durability and reliability. But when the faults in the first-generation Mazda 6 diesel engines began to come to light, the momentum towards Japanese motoring slowed down a bit. Now we approach cars of this brand more cautiously, but we still eagerly glance at newer models. The boldly styled, compact second-generation 3 is appealing with its young years, good technical condition, and unconventional appearance. The 3BL model is a strong competitor to the Honda Civic 8 and iX generations, because it was produced in a similar period. From a technical point of view, the Mazda 3BL is based on the same solutions as the previous BK. It even has the same wheelbase and a similar suspension system. It also has partially common engines. However, stylistically it is a definitely different car, although the body line has been maintained. The interior has been designed in a modern style, which makes a good impression, both visually and qualitatively. Nowadays, cars are still young and usually do not show large traces of wear. The chassis of the Mazda 3 is typically Japanese. The front suspension is McPherson struts, while the rear is similar to the multi-link arrangement of the Focus 3, as it borrowed the Global C platform from Ford. Engines. The choice of engines for the Mazda 3 BL is limited to 2 popular petrols and 2 diesels. The basic 1.6-liter petrol engine has 105 horsepower, while the larger 2-liter engine has 150 horsepower. These are engines marked as MZR, as in other Mazdas. There was also a version with direct petrol injection with 151 horsepower, marked DISI. Diesels are 2 extremely different designs. The smaller 1.6 CD is the French PSA unit known from its predecessor. The larger diesel, traditionally too big for the Japanese, has a capacity of 2.2 liters and is already a design of the Mazda MZR CD. It reaches 150 or 185 horsepower, although the latter specification is rare. In addition to the standard engines, there was also a sports engine in the Sports MPS version. It is a 2.3-liter turbo unit with 4 cylinders and direct fuel injection. It generates 265 horsepower. Which engine to choose? In this model there is a very clear division and there will be no problem with choosing the engine. Let's start with the version for the economical, i.e. 1.6. Both petrol and diesel are proposals for people who do not want to spend a lot of money. The petrol engine will work better in the city, but it is worth remembering to treat it gently. It has a durable timing chain, which will reduce expenses right after buying the car. When pressed, it can consume 10 L, 100 km. On the road, it will not satisfy the most demanding drivers, and even those with a calm nature may complain about the lack of power. However, it is durable and does not cause any problems that could be called typical. In fact, at the moment, it is difficult to talk about failures here. Diesel 1.6 is a very well-known design of the PSA group, more often known as HDI or TDCI. This engine was applied to Mazda already at the time when the problems with the injection system were eliminated. As a rule, Mazdas do not have too high mileage, so you can expect pleasant use. Especially since 109 HP and 240 Nm easily drive the car, and they need a small amount of fuel. Consumption between 5 and 7 L, 100 km is all. On the road, driving gently, you can go down to 4. Diesel won't be as durable as petrol. It may generate slightly higher costs, but it's an extremely popular unit, so repairs are no problem. You don't have to have a mechanic who knows Mazdas specifically. What's more, even a worn-out engine can be easily replaced with a used one. It is worth remembering to replace the timing belt set, belt plus chain connecting the shafts, and the accessory belt with pulleys that tend to break down at the least expected moment, which are equipped with vibration dampers. It is best to replace them in one go after 120 to 150,000 kilometers. For more demanding people, two powerful engines have been prepared. The 2.2 MZRCD diesel is a powerful unit, which already in the weaker version generates 360 Nm of torque, and in the stronger one as much as 400 Nm. It provides great performance, and at the same time is satisfied with small amounts of fuel. It has a timing chain, which must be controlled. It is not defective, but at the beginning of production there was a problem with its stretching, so it is worth keeping an eye on it. Just like the DPF filter, which needs to go out of town from time to time. Besides, this unit was created with extra urban traffic in mind. Although the 2.2 MZRCD engine is generally one of the best designs of this caliber, you have to bear in mind that any repairs will cost a lot of money. For example, the injection system, for which you will pay several $100s if you need to replace the injectors. We don't want to scare you, because there are usually no problems with this, but keep this in mind when buying a model with a mileage of around 200,000 kilometers. The equivalent of the large diesel engine may be a slightly weaker petrol unit, 2.0 MZR or DISI. Both are similar in terms of use, and fuel consumption depends more on the driver's foot than the type of injection. This is the engine that is optimal in this car. It provides good performance, and although it is more fuel-hungry than diesel, at least it is not burdened with the risk of a serious breakdown. You only have to reckon with fuel consumption of up to 10 L, 100 kilometers, although on the road you will go below 7. On the other hand, you should not worry about the timing, because just like in smaller petrol engines, we also have a chain. It is only worth checking it every 2 or 3 oil changes. In petrol engines with indirect injection, you can install a relatively cheap gas system, which may sometimes be necessary if you plan to drive a lot. To sum up, engine for the economical, little driving, 1.6 MZR, petrol, engine for economical, frequent drivers, 1.6 CD, diesel, engine providing better dynamics, for those who drive little, 2.0 MZR or 2.0 DISI, petrol. The engine that provides the best dynamics for those who drive a lot, 2.2 MZRCD, diesel, what's broken? Don't expect many comments here, because Mazda has really refined the design of the second three. The only area where you can expect failures is the air conditioning system. Usually these are problems with the electrics, which do not allow the compressor to turn on. There are problems with setting the temperature, and sometimes the compressor also fails. Corrosion is no longer a problem. It is definitely better than in the predecessor. Here, the thin and quite delicate paint, which easily reveals the live sheet metal, may be a problem. Avoid frequent mechanical polishing. Corrosion should be sought in less visible places, such as wheel arches, floors, and areas hidden under bumpers. Fortunately, even when buying a car from the beginning of production, you don't have to be as vigilant as you did with the predecessor. Sometimes in DISI engines one of the sensors fails, or in diesels the DPF filter gets clogged. In the latter case, skillful operation should solve the problem before it appears. The suspension is also trouble-free, and does not require major investments up to about 200,000 kilometers. Later, the not very expensive rear wishbones need to be replaced. When it comes to front service, we only have bushes and pins, which can be replaced individually. The operating costs of the Mazda 3 are not high. They basically end with fuel and insurance, because these cars are burdened with a high risk of theft. If something breaks, replacements are usually available and not very expensive. It is only for those elements that you will not buy in wholesalers that you will pay a lot. The 2.2 MRZCD engine is very expensive to service. It is best to buy gaskets and timing belt kits at an authorized service center. The low failure rate of the car reduces long-term costs. The most demanding engine will be the 1.6 CD, which, despite being a refined design, most often requires service. Is it worth buying a Mazda 3 BL? It's a good and refined design, and also quite an attractive car that stands out from its competitors with its unusual styling and good quality of workmanship. It also has decent engines, which are not too demanding at the moment. This is the last compact Mazda model with petrol engines on indirect injection, to which gas can be installed, and diesels, which can still be repaired normally. We are afraid that the same cannot be said about the newer generation Skyactiv D. We will have to wait a few more years to assess it. Thanks for listening to me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and rate my video. If you know of any problems with this car that I haven't mentioned, be sure to write about them in the comments.
I have good news for you. Now, if you are planning to buy a used car, or learn more about your car, you no longer need to search for the information you need on the internet. We have collected everything in one place for you, on the website carme.pro. Here you can find out everything about the car, what brakes and at what mileage, any problems with engines, chassis or gearboxes, which trim levels are better not to mess with, and how not to lose money buying a used car. You will learn all this on carme.pro.